Hello, everybody, and welcome to Malty Monday. On this Malty Monday, we're going to be looking into the Imperial Stouts. This covers all Imperial Stouts. It's not going to be just Russian Imperial or just American or just English, however you want to look at it. It's all Imperial Stouts. So as long as you have an Imperial Stout, if you feel like getting up on panel, I will throw in the can I? Is that it? Yep. I'm going to throw that into the chat. That's the StreamYard link. So if you want to join up and you're not on any of our other Hangout links, feel free to grab that and join in. But please have an Imperial Stout if you want to come up on panel. And right now on my panel, I have right next to me, Eric Thomas Metal 75.
Bam. Cheers. Thank you for having me. Imperial Stouts. Woohoo.
We got Drunken One over there in the corner.
Cheers, gang.
Looking all hippie.
Hippie.
Right down below him, we have Alex, the Beer Master.
So,
and then late to the game, we got John and Nelly, Georgia Beer Reviews. And, of course, myself, Jesse of BuMpY Brewery. Want to say cheers to the chat. Thank you guys for popping in here. We got Paul Middlefrew, who was very early in the chat. Says he can't wait to see some of these Imperial Stouts because he hasn't had one in years. But Blake TV, cheers, Blake. Thank you so much for popping in here. And Ronnie S, who loves a good stout.
I bet you Ronnie's
too bad he's still at work. You think he's going to join?
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
All right. How much you want to wager?
No, I'm not going to wager. I don't know.
All right. What we're going to do right now, I'm just going to do a share screen. I'm going to just read over some quick talking points. Cheers to Flocka, who just joined in as well. So what we're looking at is the overall impression of an Imperial Stout. It's an intensely flavored big dark ale with a wide range of flavor balances and regional interpretations. Roasty burnt malt with deep dark or dried fruit flavors and a warming bittersweet finish. Despite the intense flavors, the components need to meld together to create a complex, harmonious beer, not a hot mess.
Not a hot mess.
All right. Some comments on this. Traditionally an English style, but it is currently much more popular and widely available in America, where it is a craft beer favorite, not a curiosity. Variations exist with English and American interpretations. Predictably, the American versions have more bitterness, roasted character, and finishing hops, while the English varietals reflect a more complex specialty malt character and a more forward ester profile. Not all Imperial Stouts have a clearly English or American character. Anything in between the two variants are allowable as well, which is why it is counterproductive to designate a subtype when entering into a competition. The wide range of allowable characteristics allow for maximum brewer creativity. Judges must be aware of the broad range of the style and not try to judge all examples as clones or a specific commercial beer. That's if it's like a homebrew. History. The style with a long, although not necessarily continuous heritage, traces roots to strong English porters brewed for export in the 1700s and said to have been popular with the Russian imperial court. After the Napoleonic Wars, interpreted trade, these beers were increasingly sold in England. The style eventually all but died out until being popularly embraced in a modern craft beer era, both in England as a revival and in the United States as a reinterpretation of reimagination by extending the style with American characteristics.
Which I feel
Thank God for those folks. Thank God for those folks.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of craft beer styles have been done that way by Americans. We take a traditional style and sometimes we Americanize it, whether we make it more funky or we make it more bitter. Our spin is usually a thing that happens in this country.
Nice. I'm just trying to close the screen out below me there. I got it all out of the way.
Yeah.
Right. So
Good.
we can go ahead and go on to our first panel member, Thomas Metal 75.
Dumbass.
Would you mind telling us what you have and going through your aromas and tasting?
Yeah. Oh, I'll go right there, sir.
And I'll bring you up too.
Yeah, certainly. I'm not afraid to say hello. We have from Kent, Connecticut, which is actually the birthplace of Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy. This is Kent Falls Brewing Company. Again, Kent, Connecticut. The folks went to the brewery the other day, and they brought one of the beers they brought back is called Orchard Noir, which is a blend, they say in the back of the bottle, a blend of Imperial Stouts aged in apple brandy and whiskey barrels. The intention is to create a warming roast forward flavor beer with rich undertones of caramelized apples. This is 8.7%. The batch 2 here, they've done 2 batches, was bottled on February 2019. So we got a whole year's worth. And off camera, before we started, I popped open the giant top on this thing, and it started to foam over. So I had to quickly pour this thing into a glass. And as I swirl it in the Teku glass I'm using, you're definitely getting a dark red, not entirely black. You can kind of see a little bit of the dark red, but it is pretty dark, as you would imagine for the style. And the head is a nice khaki color. If I agitate it by swirling, it will regenerate. Otherwise, not much of a head. Some popping and fizzing. It's very small bubbles. So this is pretty cool. This brewery has a lot of funky sour beers. I don't think that that's what they're doing here in this particular beer, but I'm reminded of a funky sour barnyardy kind of Belgian yeast. They have a house yeast. Maybe that's more Belgian style, I think. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting they're using Applejack barrels and bourbon brandy barrels. So I'm getting this nice appley note to it, this nice apple cidery kind of note, mixed with that woody vanilla coconut, sort of a toasty note. There is a little bit of a medium roasted coffee malt and some sweet kind of brown bready stuff, but it's not on the charred side or anything like that. So it's got a nice balance of a lot of different notes. Not overly complex, pretty approachable. So yeah, I'll give that one a taste. The Orchard Noir from Kent Falls Brewing Company. Cheers, people. Ooh. Yeah, this one is got a lot of funk to it, to be completely honest. It's got a funky Belgian sort of style farmhouse style yeast strain to it. A lot of it. And then there's some alcohol, barely any, but I can still perceive it's got a bigger heft to it. Chocolatey, dark chocolatey notes. It's probably about a straight up medium. It's not really full bodied. I am getting the vanilla and the coconut and some of that toasty brown bread. Not very roasty. Again, like in the nose, it's getting a medium bodied or a medium roastiness to it from the coffees flavors I'm getting. And again, and it's finishing on this kind of sour, funky side, which I read on Beer Forget, the only dude that reviewed the beer said it was an unpleasant finish. It's just a very different beer overall. It's pretty crisp. Is it clean? No, it's semi-sweet. Is it refreshing for the style? I'm going to call this refreshing. I'm liking it so far, but you have to like almost the Belgian influence to your Imperial Stout in the yeast. So very cool. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
All right.
Totally unique in my book.
We will move from there. Drunken One is the next on my panel.
Next victim. All right. Man, it's hard to follow that guy. He's a hell of a reviewer, and I am not. Okay. If I can pronounce the name of this, it is from Baltica Brew Collection. This is a Russian Imperial Stout. Comes in at 10%. Never ever seen this before. I was trying to look up the cost. I kind of forgot. I think it was like $5.99 for this odd shaped or odd amount bottle. It's a 14.88 fluid ounces. Maybe that has something to do with my in a certain way. What concerned me about this is I was digging on the 10%, but what concerned me about it is I think it's a freaking twist top. So here we go, twisting the top. What?
Oh, what?
Such a fancy beer? I don't know. So here we are. Give it a try. I'm gonna pour it in my. It ain't Teku, but it is the Spiglo. One of those guys.
Maybe Russians don't have any time to deal with looking for a bottle opener. This one open it now.
No bottle opener, boys. Here we go. All right. So here's the pour. Oh, I guess I can get it in frame. Here's the pour. It pours out. It looks brown as I'm pouring it. From the bottle into the glass. But after getting it together into the glass, of course, it's a lot thicker then, and so it's a lot darker. Not seeing any light through it. It's quite dark. All right. Cheers. Get a sip on it. The bubbles are kind of mixed. Some smaller ones mainly, but a few larger ones. Looks like we're gonna have some lacing going on here in a minute. Chocolate roast. Maybe a little coffee. I'm not good with this, guys. Y'all know. All right. So really roasty. It is definitely a Russian Imperial Stout. Let's give her a little swiggy.
Hell yeah! Cheers.
Ooh. Oh, thick mouthfeel. Ooh, that's pretty darn good right there. Even with the twist up. Okay, yeah, this kind of brings me back to the CBS and KBS. Yeah, it's a really thick mouthfeel, like I say. It's creamy. It's not very sweet. What are they saying on here? They said it's got little bars on there. So the sweetness is very little. Pardon if my camera doesn't focus in. And then the second bar there is bitterness. I don't find it being bitter. Maybe it's bitter for its style, and the color is full bars too because it's jet black. Definitely enjoyable. Chocolate roast. Thick mouthfeel, creamy. Pretty darn good. I will come back around when y'all come back around. I guess I'll get my ratings. Cheers. It's definitely worth buying so far. Let it warm up a little bit, and we'll see. It's not too very cold. Cheers.
Yeah. You are muted, Sir BuMpY. You are muted, Sir BuMpY.
We can't hear what you're saying, brother man.
I said a bunch of crap, but cheers to the chat. Thank you guys for coming in.
BuMpY, you're a trip, my friend.
That was good.
You're playing at home, people. Alex said you're a trip. Take a drink.
Yeah, you'll have to get the unedited version of what I said. But yeah, thank you guys for coming in and chatting it up here. I was just saying I am throwing them up, your chats up on the panel here as people are going through their beers. So continue. Cheers to craft beer pours who just popped in.
All right, and Brandon.
We are going to move on to Alex, the beer master, if he's ready to be presented and show us what he's got.
Yeah. Today we have the pastry chocolate cherry stout, Imperial Stout BuMpY.
BuMpY.
So I've already had a couple cans of this. This is very good so far. It's from D-Claw. So brewing. I think it's New Jersey. I'm not sure. I was looking around when I was waiting for my thing. But it's a 16-ounce can, and the alcohol is 8.5 by volume.
Nice.
So let's see what it is all about here.
Cheers, Kyle. Cheers, Craft Beer Pours. Cheers, Beer Man. And Blake TV.
It's a nice dark chocolate beer. What it looks like, color, nice and dark. The head obviously had maybe 3-finger head earlier, but now it's just a little finger head. Now let's see what this and it's nice and a little bit of froth. Let's see what this smells like. It smells like a chocolate, kind of like I don't smell any cherries though. I just smell chocolate. So I'm surprised, but I should have to smell it, but I don't. I just smell chocolate. It's very overbearing. It smells good though.
Any cherry?
No, I don't smell any cherry. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So let's see what this tastes like, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, Alex.
Cheers. Delicious.
The first thing I taste is chocolate, a little bit of cherry, just a little bit, and it's very smooth on the taste. That's what I like. I like smooth beers, creamy beers.
Nice.
A little bit of bitterness, a little sweetness, a little bit of bitterness. It's what you can get in a chocolate delicious stout. And I'm going to keep on sipping on this and let you know what's going on in the next few minutes or whatever.
Awesome. Thank you. Nice taste in there, Alex. We are going to throw this on to John and Ellie now.
Go ahead.
And he's going to present his beer. I'm going to throw him up on the big screen. John and Ellie, you ready?
John's always ready.
Hey,
bitch.
all right. So yeah, I've been saving this, and I had to rush home just so I could do this with you guys. So I got the KBS. Sorry for the glare. Espresso KBS. It's 12% alcohol. I believe it's 70 IBUs. It's brewed with chocolate and coffee, aged in oak bourbon barrels, and then further aged on espresso beans once it comes out of the barrel. This was bottled on November 15th, 2019. Like I said, 12% alcohol. This is my last one. So I poured it, started sipping on it. It did pour with a nice head, which is anticipated, but it was a nice, like beige colored head, black appearance. Coffee. You're getting a ton of coffee with this. If you don't like coffee, you don't like barrel aged stuff, you probably won't like this. Although if you just like coffee and not necessarily barrel aged stuff, you might like it because it is very coffee forward, and the coffee is very in your face. Alcohol's masked well. It smells delightful. It just smells like a coffee bready concoction. It doesn't necessarily like scream beer. It's very coffee forward. It smells really good. I'm sorry if I'm dragging the quality of this down tonight. I didn't know if I'd be back or not in time, but I'm glad I made it. All right, so cheers to Malty Monday. Let's go ahead and get into this. See how it tastes.
Fucking cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, review.
I'm glad you can make it.
I'm glad I can make it too.
Yeah.
It's delicious. This is freaking delicious. Coffee, dark toasted bread, nice bitterness on the finish, but not super bitter. A lot of the bitterness is actually coming from the coffee, not the hops that they're using in here. It's got a creamy mouthfeel. 12%. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. 12% alcohol. Are you kidding me? There's no booziness. It does have a little bit of like the bourbon woody notes to it, but it's not alcoholic in the taste. It's very smooth. It's very easy drinking. If you've had the regular KBS, you're going to be delighted with this. It's just a little bit amped up on the espresso. The coffee, it's like it takes the coffee and it bumps it up to the next level. The body is medium to heavy. The carbonation is on the light side, which when you barrel age a beer, you typically lose a lot of the carbonation. Although there is carbonation. But I've been drinking for several hours, so I don't think a lot of that's coming from the KBS.
Give it a Bud Light.
Johnny boy, do you taste any vanilla? Because I thought espresso was like a vanilla kind of thing.
So vanilla, Alex. No, I am getting a little bit of vanilla, but mostly the dark chocolate, the coffee, the barrel oak presence, the toasty bready notes, a little vanilla, because when you age something in bourbon barrels, you get vanilla, because vanilla is one of the flavors that's released, that's extracted from the oak itself. Toffee, caramel, vanilla are your three main flavors when you're talking about barrel presence, at least from my experience. So yes, there is a vanilla presence, Alex, but it's very muted compared to the other flavors. of the chocolate, the espresso coffee, and the actual woody bourbon type notes themselves. This is 12%, and it drinks like a 6%er.
We got a horny. Oh, that was a dumb one.
It's gone. It drinks it's very smooth and easy drinking, and it's gone now. So,
whoa,
there you go.
Whoa, woo. Yeah,
A good beer. A good beer.
apparently.
Here, I'll give a rating later, but I'm glad I got to join. I love Imperial Stouts. They're one of my favorite styles. Imperial Stouts, sours, anything barrel aged really is up there for me. But Imperial Stouts are so diverse now. They're creating so many different variations of these types of beers. And the BJCP, although, I mean, it's great that they have these, this is what an Imperial Stout, this is the category. But we are going so over and beyond and past what they initially thought of when they came up with this category. It's really amazing, and it's great for beer drinkers like myself to get to experience all these exciting new variations and takes on the style. And I'm gonna.
And Johnny boy, I never figured that I would fall in love with these Imperial Stouts or Stouts at all. I thought I wasn't going to like them, but the Stouts been good so far. What I experienced.
Oh my! Hey,
yeah, we have a newcomer that came in. Well, John.
What is that?
Not this
We
guy.
got Craig from Kent Beer Reviews.
I think it's got Kent in the name. Woo.
Not this guy.
Yeah, so, Craig, you're next now. So,
okay,
you want to present and go through your, the appearance, the aromas, the tasting.
I've not even opened it yet. I saw you was live. I was like, let's get a beer on.
Sure.
So it's a beer from Scotland, from Fierce. So it's a mocha, and the abbreviation is a very big moose. So it's an Imperial Stout.
Is that what it means? Very big moose.
Damn.
Well,
Okay.
The moose is loose.
Yeah, 12%. So this is it's a variant of their kind of like main beer, which is obviously very big moose. But this is infused with ground and whole bean coffee that was hand roasted by Brewdog. So it says smooth coffee. It blends with a traditional chocolate and vanilla for a very big mocha mousse hug. So it contains cereal, so barley, wheat, and oats, and lactose milk. That's it. I'm gonna crack it open. Right up. So yeah.
Let me add. I'm sure digging that hat right now.
The Fedora.
I've had this beer since August, funnily enough. But so I'm hoping the coffee hasn't sort of faded or anything like that. It shouldn't have done, but you never know.
It should be able to last for a long time, in my opinion.
Some coffees hang around, but others fall off. But so yeah, we've got like half a finger of sort of mocha sort of head on that. You can't really see it. There we go. Give it a swirl, a sniff, I guess. Yeah, big kind of roasty, toasty kind of malts, as you expect. Big hints of the coffee's present on the aroma, which is a nice thing. I was a bit worried about that. I thought would it fade or. There's more of a kind of a milky chocolate kind of aroma as well that's going with that. Not really picking up anything on the ABV on the aroma. So, hey, let's give it a taste. Cheers.
cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to beers.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
This is one of them dangerous ones you get. It's quite sweet. You're getting that lactose kind of edge to it, vanilla. It's even a bit of a alcohol legs on the glass. You'd expect it for 12%, I guess.
Better, all right, better.
Well, I had one the other day. It didn't happen at all. I was like, what's going on with that? It's got a decent amount of carbonation. Body-wise, it's actually a medium body. which is again dangerous for the ABV. So it's a bit thin, for what you're kind of thinking it's going to be. Yeah, nice roasty, toasty coffee kind of vibe to it. Milky chocolate, a little bit of roasted malts, more on the aroma than actually on the other taste. As I say, fairly sweet. There's almost a slight kind of like a chocolate liqueur kind of sweetness to it. Maybe a touch of caramel, that kind of soft center sort of thing. But yeah, very nice. Yeah, decent beer.
That's awesome. I like the label, the black and green. It reminds me of like the Green Hornet, which is like this. I don't know if you know about the Green Hornet, but that's what it reminded me of when I saw the label.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah.
Green Hornet rings a bell.
I like it's like the angry hop on the left side of the label there too.
Wow.
Johnny boy, you're talking about Green Hornet, like a guy that wears a hat and he has a mask around.
I'm talking about well, it was a cartoon and a comic book, I think, but I'm talking about the movie with with Seth Rogen and the Japanese guy.
I believe historically you would be right about that, though, Alex. Yes, though. Yeah.
But yeah,
I think that's the first iteration with the Green Hornet.
Right.
Yeah. Good on you with your history.
I'm not into that superhero stuff, but I kind of had that vision because I've seen it in bits and pieces of it. So
we were talking about, John was talking about barrel-aged beers and how it's probably with the BJCP not enough in a lot of these categories we talk about, especially with the Imperial Stouts, to talk about here's just like an English one, or here's just a Russian one, or here's just an American one, because of all the barrel aging and all the different variations that come around. So they do have other categories that involve, so there's wood-aged beers from the BJCP that say the style is intended for beer aged in wood without added alcohol from the previous use of the barrel. And then they say that there's another category that says bourbon barrel or other similar beers should be entered as a specialty wood-aged beer, which are the beers aged in wood with added character from the previous use of the barrel. Bourbon barrel or other similar beer should be entered here. So regardless of if we're all drinking an Imperial Stout, they're really narrowing it down to being barrel aged or not. Hello, John.
Yeah, they do.
I have no idea what happened. I just dropped out. I don't know.
That's why I thought you had a phone call or something.
No, I just my computer just decided that I wasn't worthy to be on the stream.
You just want to change places. I understand.
John, your favorite Imperial Stout is actually, what do they say? Specialty wood aged beer.
Yeah. Yeah, they do break it down a little bit more if you really dig into the BJCP for different Imperial Stouts. But I did find that what I read off was a lump sum of all Imperial Stouts.
Base flavor.
I figured just do it that way for the Imperial Stouts, and then other ones will have their very own. When we get into different stouts, like if stouts come back around again, I'm sure they will. We'll have oatmeal stouts. There's milk stouts. All
if I have anything to do with it, we will.
But I guess I'll go ahead and bring myself up. I'll get through my little tasting here. Cheers to the chat again. It's going to be a second before I can really bring anybody else up on the screen or from the chat anyways, because I'm going to be doing this and trying to concentrate on this versus other thing. What I brought is from AleSmith Brewing Company.
Ooh.
They are
I love that. I love it. That's an awesome beer.
I can get that beer. I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, I know they're out of California, right?
They're in I think they're from San Diego, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because I can't find San Diego, Cali. There it is. It's right in the front. I'm looking at the back. It's in the front all along. But yeah, this is an Imperial Stout with coffee. Just quick readings on this thing. I guess on the Speedway Stouts ominous pitch black appearance has become a hallmark of this modern day classic. Chocolate and roasted malts dominate the flavor. Supported by notes of dark fruit, toffee, and caramel, a healthy dose of locally roasted coffee from Ryan Bros Coffee Inc. added to each batch brings out the beer's dark chocolate flavors and enhances its drinkability. So that's all. I'm just going to stop there. The real special thing about this one is, if it will show up, probably won't. This is from 2016. So this is
holy shit! Just 4 years old.
Yeah,
wow.
Just about a 4-year-old stout.
Well, legendary coffee. What's the ABV on it?
12%. Thank you, Alex. I totally forgot about that. It is a 12%er. So it pours in with a very tight bubbled, very mocha to chocolate colored head. Color of the beer itself is, well, pretty much black. Right?
Black.
It's pitch black in the back. The aromas. There's the chocolate notes, the roasted malt notes. There is a little hint of coffee. This is almost 4 years old, so I think maybe a fresher batch of it, the coffee may shine through a bit more. But yeah, there's still a little hint of coffee in the aromas. And it almost smells like there's a little bit of a wood note in there too, which this is not a barrel-aged stout at all. So I don't know if aging has anything to do with that or not, but pretty much a larger like chocolate and roasted malt aroma in this one. Nice. First swig, so cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Yes. There you go, man.
Pretty big chocolate notes coming forward.
It's a huge beer.
Yeah, you're getting some of that like roasted, like the barley type notes in there. Little hint of like a tannin and tad bit of a coffee with a dark fruit note. Kind of on the, I'm going to go with like a prune type dark fruit flavor. And there is a follow-up of a bitterness that just keeps lingering on. It's pretty much the bitterness that you're going to find out of coffee, like black coffee that you're left with. Like if you add no sugar, no cream, it's that type of a lingering coffee bitterness. Finish this off. The mouth on this, it does seem pretty smooth. Low end carbonation. I think it's just under like a full body. So I'm going to go with a high body feel to this one.
I like the high body feel.
Yeah, even with the coffee notes that still come through, because I'm not like a huge like dark coffee, black coffee drinker. I like to add lots of sugar. I like sweet things. It's still not bad because that chocolate note is still the dominant note throughout, and it's kind of it's on the mild side of a chocolate, so like the medium build just under like a baker's chocolate type. So the little bit of a sweetness, not super bitter on the chocolate side. So not bad at all. We're going to go back to the full panel. We'll look at the chat if anybody wants to talk to the chat. Where did we leave off with this chat? Reels. Oh, Blanco, bunch of Vados Locos.
Matos Locos, they're just like crazy guys. Bunch of
okay.
Pretty much.
I'm glad we got one Spanish speaking person in here.
Oh.
Who is
Right.
Ailes?
What the hell?
Damn
Man?
it. Who Ailes Smith? Yum. Okay. We got you now, Bear Man.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're very crazy. Yes,
They put up some great beers. I have had this one actually fresher. It was off tap, but it was
Ooh, wow.
like a year and a half ago. And it was in a flight too, so I didn't have a whole glass of it. But I liked it enough that I didn't shy away from it when I saw it on the shelves. I did leave it there for a few go arounds, but it was still there.
Cheers.
So I think it all just came, to it wanted to be here for tonight, I guess. And that's where it's at.
It made its presence known.
On a microphone.
Yeah, it's pretty good. If you can get AleSmith, I would get the Speedway Stout. I mean, this is a beer I've heard about, especially being like a home brewer. There's certain beers that come up that people are trying to mimic, and this is one of them. Speedway Stout's a good Imperial Stout that people try to brew.
BuMpy, will you ever try to mimic that beer, the Speedway Stout, or no?
You do your own version.
No, because of the coffee. I try not to do too much coffee stuff. If coffee comes up in any of my porters or stouts that I do, it's based off of what comes out of the malt already. I'm not. I did brew years ago for a friend a coffee stout, and let's just say it was very, very much like coffee grounds flavored. It was he said he liked it, but I don't. I was just like,
well, BuMpy, maybe your friend liked it, but you didn't. So I mean, it's
maybe, who knows? If you're ever eating coffee grounds, just take like some wet coffee grounds and just put them in your mouth and chew on them a little bit.
Oh yeah, or the instant coffee. Get you some instant coffee.
Or the instant coffee.
That shit. With me.
Oh, BuMpy,
But
is saying that he hasn't seen a commercial Imperial Stout in years. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we find that hard to believe in America. I guess maybe Canada's different.
He's probably up on a mountain in the middle of the woods. flooding all around, so he can't go down off the mountain to go anywhere.
Ah, shit! It's Molson. What do I do?
And Amazon will not deliver to his house.
To his tree stand.
So we're gonna go back through and start giving some scoring. Once again, I'll leave the link in the channel. So if there's anybody else that wants to come up on here that has an Imperial Stout that wants to come aboard, I will bring you up. But we're gonna go back through starting with Thomas Metal. I'm not gonna bring everybody back up again one by one, so we'll just run through it as it like this. So
that's cool. I know Craig wasn't here when we started, so very briefly, we got it from Kent, Connecticut. Yeah, Kent Falls Brewing Company. Bam, 8.7%. This is the Orchard Noir. They are using a blend of Imperial Stouts aged in apple brandy and whiskey barrels, and John's trying to stay awake. Batch 2. They did 2 batches. This one is done a year ago, February 2019. So it is very funky with that apple brandy. It is very chocolatey and wood barrel notes and the coconuts in there. Yeah. It's actually, I said it had a nice effervescence, but I think that John was more correct about Imperial Stouts and in this one too, that it's a little bit more softer and the carbonation kind of takes a backseat to all the other flavors. It's a very funky farmhousey kind of a beer. They do a lot of farmhousing and sour beers at Kent Falls, so I'm getting that influence, and some of that's the brandy barrel. Because it's so unique and doesn't really speak to me as the most awesome, like recognizable Imperial Stout, I'm going to give that one a 91. I think it's the most excellent beer. Great take on the American style, not so much the English one, with that funky twinge to it. So yeah, a year later, pretty good, 91. Just a different style of Imperial Stout.
Nice. And you guys can, if you're going to score it, you don't have to score if you don't want to. And you can give any scoring that you find reasonable. If you score based off of sheep wool, go ahead and do it that way.
Let's say I score this 3 bags full. 3 bags full.
Right. Tadpoles?
Yeah, tadpoles as well.
Oh, jeez. Right.
3 bags full.
We'll figure it out one way or another.
Exactly.
All right.
And Drunken One, we're over to you now for you.
All right.
How much you like that?
I took some notes. Now they're kind of just random in any old order, but I'll try to go through them and quickly because I know people got better things to do than listen to me ramble. Okay, like any other stout, it's going to be warmer, better when it's warmer, and so that holds true to this one also. The alcohol is well hidden at 10%. You don't get any of that in the aroma or the warming of the chest or anything like that. Or maybe I'm just an alcoholic. But it does linger on the tongue. It does linger on the tongue. It kind of hangs out with you. It has low carbonation. Although I'm getting them out of order now. Although if you swirl it around a little bit, you can see that it kind of comes back. It does have lacing, and it does have some alcohol legs, which is expected for a beer. Is 10%, so it's expected for a beer like that. That's that bit, and then it's got like a bitter, like kind of like the chocolate, the baker's chocolate you might have thought was real chocolate in the refrigerator, and you snuck it and realized it wasn't. And so it's got that baker's chocolate kind of thing. The head returns with a swirl. Got that. It is bottle conditioned. After, and they should have noted that on there. After pouring that last little bit in, kind of looked in there, and there's little yeasters on the bottom. It's well balanced, and I am really sincerely confused by the fact that this had a screw top on it for such a nice flavored beer that I rate at 90, a solid 93, maybe 94, whatever, something. It's along those lines up there. It's pretty good, but the more I'm learning to enjoy these stouts, these nicer stouts like this, the more I'm realizing what those numbers kind of what they're meaning. It's not quite CBS or KBS material. I put this in the same range with like Dragon's Milk, something along those lines. It's good beer. I would buy it again. I would show it off to my friends. No rhyme intended if I did that. But yeah, it's pretty good. I give it a solid 93 or a 94. If the wind's blowing right.
Yeah, and a screw cap doesn't always mean that it's going to be an inferior beer. It's like there's a brewing company in Portland, Maine, Shipyard. They've been around for years. They make some pretty decent stuff. Mm-hmm. They do have like their brewers specialties that they put out that are better than their regular shelfy stuff. But for the most part, they make decent tasting beers, and they all have the screw caps. And it might just be maybe when they started up, that's how they wanted to go, because it would be easier for people that may be out and about and they don't have,
maybe that's the way
a bottle opener, and they don't want to use their car door or seatbelt buckle. I'm not promoting drinking and driving. Sorry.
Let's not do that.
Is your beer chewy? Does it have a lot of those red wine kind of tannic qualities?
Red wine? Yeah, no, not so much. Let me just show you what it is again. I've never seen this stuff. It's Baltica.
I believe, yeah, Baltic.
Russian Imperial Stout. I never seen it, and I walked back and forth for about 20 minutes. It was between this and the Lagunitas Imperial Stout. So I went back and forth, and the price and the ABV, and I've just never had this. It looked interesting, although it wasn't really flashy.
I can get that one. We'll get that here, that one.
Yeah.
It's a Russian Imperial. It's from Russia.
I think Baltica is done in St. Petersburg, Russia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir. That's the one. Yep. St. Petersburg.
And there you go, too. Beer Man loves your shirt.
I figured.
that was an older comment, but
it's a
What, you've been decorating today, or what?
No, I've been just out shopping. I didn't have to work today, so I was just out shopping and getting things.
Yeah,
he's a smooth criminal, that Drunken One.
Buying beer.
Now, as we go to Alex for his scoring or whatever he wants to do with this time frame that he has, Paul Middlefruit does say that he would like to know if the cherries in your beer, Alex, get more pronounced as it warms up.
Actually,
we'll find out now.
I could taste a little bit of cherry, but it's mostly chocolate I'm tasting. And I taste the sweetness, so I'm guessing that could be the cherry too. But I was figuring cherry forward. That is what I was visioning in my head. Because when you're thinking about a cherry bomb, a chocolate covered cherry bombs, you'd be thinking it would taste exactly like cherries. I mean, but it tastes more chocolate.
Well, I know that Bell's put out one. I never aired the video because I bombed it. But it was a cherry stout from Bell's, and they used Bell's exactly what it is. And they used the cherries from Michigan, but it was the tart cherries, like the black cherries or whatever. So those are. I have questions. But we'll go ahead, Alex. Give your score. I got to answer a question.
It's okay, legendary BuMpy. I'm gonna give this a. It's a very good beer. I wish the cherries would be more announced, but like I said, the sweetness. I think it's the cherries. But I'm gonna give this a 90. It is a good beer. Other than that, but
the more cherry flavor would have bumped the score up.
Yeah, of course.
It just because it's more chocolate. I mean, like I said, I could taste the sweetness, which would be the cherry, but
I guess taste
cherries. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But.
Damn cherries.
It's just you.
All right, so
world.
Good. Very BuMpy.
Okay. BuMpy's busy right now. I think we're going to go back around to Kent, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not trying to run anything. I think we're.
I don't know what order.
You go next, or maybe actually, I think it was John, and then you.
All right, let Greg go next. Let's just go. Let him go ahead.
We don't need
him.
He
is from another country, after all.
No, I'm in no hurry to clear off, but
go ahead.
This is a decent beer. As I'm trying to follow it up with what I said before. I'm getting a little bit more kind of like almost like walnut husks kind of. There's a slight kind of nuttiness going on with it. I don't know if it's supposed to be there or this is what I'm getting now. I mean, this beer is room temperature. It's not in the fridge or nothing. I do want it to be like cold. I want to get straight to the nitty gritty of the aroma and the taste.
Sure.
Kind of thing.
Like PA Bruno, you put it on your register for the next half hour, right?
Yeah, I just I don't put them in the oven, but do you know what I'm saying? I keep it. I mean, the weather we got at the moment, it's quite warm out, and the back room is cool, and it's a little bit probably warmer than it would be, say, like a month ago.
Right.
But no, this is a lovely beer. All I want, considering it's a 12% ABV Imperial Stout, I want a bit more body to it. It's a little bit kind of lacking in that regard. I wouldn't say it's thin, but it's not a full body. It's more of a kind of a medium body. So for me, that kind of lets it down a little bit. Apart from that, there's still got all the flavors you expect from it. What it says on the can. Decent beer, a good beer.
That's pretty. Yeah. It's pretty impressive. And I'm sorry. Oh, God, I'm doing the British accent. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do the British accent.
Just talk normal.
So the 12. The 12. Shut up. The 12. Sorry. The 12%. And I have to control. I get carried away with the. The 12% alcohol, even though it's heavy body, the alcohol is masked pretty well. 12% is no joke. So is the alcohol masked relatively well? Even though it's thick, I mean, is it masked well?
I don't know if it's masked well to me, but then somebody who's perhaps not used to the ABV, maybe it's not. Maybe it's maybe I've got.
Is it warming? Is it warming going down? Does it have that warming effect when you swallow?
Not really. It's more of a kind of a warming afterwards in the pit of the stomach, kind of warming. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're good.
I think it's just whether or not you're acclimatized to this kind of.
Well, a lot of it. Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with how if you're used to the higher alcohol beers, but
yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do, like most craft beer. Most of us have had a lot of high alcohol beers in over the past few years, right? So for us, it's pretty obvious to tell if a beer like a 12%. I've had a lot of 12% beers that have been very boozy. I've had a lot of 12% that have been not so boozy, and I think that as an experienced drinker, I'm not going to call myself an expert, but as an experienced alcoholic, as an experienced drinker, I think that there is something to be said about beers that you're getting up 10% plus with that high of an ABV, whether they're barrel aged or not, whatever. The fact that they're able to mask the alcohol well, I think that's an indication of quality with the beer.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I was asking, because that to me is an important indicator of quality when you're getting there in the alcohol.
Yeah, I think with these, for me, these type of beers, I'm quite greedy. I want a low ABV kind of content or feel to it. I want full body. Right. Sometimes you can't have both, I think.
Right.
You have your cake and eat it too.
It's one of them just greedy, you just spoil. You just sometimes you can have the body, but with the ABV, and vice versa. It's just, but in terms of a rating, then I don't know how the 100 score works. I'm
do your own, do whatever scoring you want to do.
Yeah, I'm going to give this it's an 8 out of 10, so it's a 4.25 on Untappd. So does that work out? 93, 94? I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Well, 8 out of 10 would be like an 80%. Is that the way you 8 out of 10 you drop the zeros?
I don't know if that's actually true, because when you add the hundreds, you're adding more decimal type deals to it, basically, because you're going up from 1 point from 8 to 9 would be 1, but if you're going in a 100 scale from 80 to 90, you got 9.
I don't know how that works. So
I would put it in half. So I think you'd be probably around. I think an 8 out of 10 would be like an 87.
What's 8.5 or something? It's an 8. It's 8.5 out of 10. I'm giving it. So
so 8. It's a solid B, a straight good beer.
Yeah, it's a decent beer, but it's not blowing me away. But it's
not blowing you away. But it's a solid.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it. It's still
fair enough.
All right, sweet.
Cheers.
I wish my teachers were so lax with these ratings when I was in school. I'd have been like a 5.0 student. No, well, you got a B, you got an 82, whatever. Oh, well, that's perfect. Great. You're moving on.
Oh, geez.
John,
John, we're live. Hey, John, we're live.
Yeah, Johnny boy.
All right. Okay. I
love your
Australian
accent. Your Australian accent is awesome. I must admit.
Johnny boy.
All right. So it goes back to me, right, BuMpY? So I'll give you my rating on not this, because this is PBR. I've already drank the KBS.
So you're gonna give a PBR rating?
Super.
I already drank the KBS espresso.
All right, my face is no longer involved with this.
This is the way I. Founders makes excellent beers. I don't know how. I don't know, Craig, if you get Founders out there, but they make some great barrel aged stuff. So I would rate it like this: the Founders KBS espresso is a 97.
Oh, I thought it was going to be 100.
Founders KBS. Regular KBS is a 98 because it's a little bit more balanced. And then the Founders CBS, my favorite, is a 99. All three of them are excellent, bordering on world-class Imperial Stouts. They're all barrel-aged. They're all excellent. So I'm just going to go for the espresso version. I'm going to go with a 97, which is bordering on world-class. It's definitely worth checking out. And if you love coffee,
that might be
probably give even a higher score than what I'm giving it. But it's excellent beer, The 12% is masked exceptionally well. It's creamy, delicious, smooth, silky all the way through, and it's just got such a pronounced flavor. It's very like if you've had it, you know what you're drinking. You could blindfold somebody and give them this beer, and they know they're drinking pretty much a world-class beer. It's that good.
It's a very well crafted beer.
Imperial Stouts are one of my favorite styles, and I think that Founders does it better, just as good as the best.
Legendary Johnny Boy, I have a suggestion for you.
Uh-oh.
Would you like to do a side-by-side with the KBS and the KBS Espresso? I'm just thinking this out loud because I really wonder.
Yes, I thought, sure, yeah, but it's not as easy as to get the regular KBS as it is. First of all, the KBS Espresso, I was saving this bottle for the last month, and BuMpy was like, hey, Mike, won't you get on here and join with the, with your Imperial Stout? And I told, and this is all I had, so I had to join. I had to join with what I had, and I'm so sorry to Craig. It's
fine.
I'm not trying to be like.
Just talk normal, man.
Yeah, I know. This is just, I get like this. Anyway,
Johnny Boy, you do that off air.
I love this beer. Anyway, just mute me and move on to somebody else, please.
All right. Well, I'm the next person. So I got the AleSmith Brewing Company Speedway Stout. It is an Imperial Stout, 12% with coffee added to it. I'm gonna give this a BuMpy. I give it a 47 out of 50 for my old school BuMpy rating.
Nice.
Old school. Okay.
This would be I'm going to give it a 94 out of 100. I think that's where I'm going to land this.
All right.
I love that beer, BuMpy. I've had that. And honestly, the one that you have is probably better than the one that I had because it's aged and the coffee probably faded a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's probably a little bit better balance.
If this had, I don't know how the coffee, I did have it on tap though. But like I said, it was like a 5
flight, yeah.
Flight, so this was the last beer because it was the Imperial Stout after drinking the blonde, the pale ale, the Goza, the IPA, and then the Imperial Stout. So if you really get a good flavor taste off of that, probably not. But it was, like I said, good enough to at least not make me not want to purchase this one. And a 94 out of 100 isn't a bad score at all.
Sounds fair.
It's decent.
Yeah, sounds fair.
We had a few different Imperial Stouts tonight. That was good.
Awesome.
We had a couple barrel-aged types, a Russian Imperial from Drunken One.
Cheers.
He had the only one that was considered a Russian Imperial.
Yeah.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, mine's right. No, mine's Russian Imperial. It's
right
from Russia. From Russia.
When he's trying to say you're the only one that had it, Drunken One.
Yeah, worn my damn hat.
Alex had one that had cherries added to it.
Should I have worn my hat tonight? Should I have worn the hat with my Russian Imperial Stout?
I think Adam Schiff might start looking into you, Drunken One. Be careful.
The shirt goes really well. I must
I didn't think about that. I should have never told them.
Inclusion in your beers, apparently.
Mother Russia.
So
there we go. You're a star.
We all went through our beers. Everybody enjoyed your Imperial Stouts.
Yes, sir.
I hope so, because this is the last time. This is the last time there will be an Imperial Stout on Malty Monday. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the Imperial Stout.
Mr. BuMpy, I know you're
Imperial Stouts are done.
Imperial Stouts may be done. JCP. I was looking into it a little bit as well. There's a lot of different styles. So technically, we can go into another. We can do another style of stout, and it can also be Imperial in nature. Basically, it's just a high alcohol beer.
What's going to happen is
so basically, this is like the free for all.
Yeah. This is a wild card or a free for all when it comes to big guys stouts. Yeah, exactly. The rest are going to be more defined.
So legendary BuMpy, you don't want to do more stouts? It's pretty cool.
No.
We're gonna do more stout.
No.
It's gonna be more.
So what's gonna happen now is I'm gonna end up stopping the broadcast. If there's anybody else that wants to join in, get in the basement before this does end, and you can't get in. I mean, I think the StreamYard thing is still out there anyway. So if you all know where to find that, you can still kind of join in and try to get in. You might be in the basement, but we'll swap around. We'll be going off air, but what's going to happen is we'll discuss. Hopefully, my panel that's up here tonight will stay for a little bit afterwards.
Yep.
We're gonna try to come up with four different types of beer. So I mean, if everybody wants another like porter stout thing, fine. But once that's up there, hey, we already got porter and stout. Now try to think of something else. Let's try to get four different types so we can make a poll that's going to come from Drunken One. I will put that into the description of this video once it uploads. So you can find it there. It will also be posted on multiple hangout groups that we're in. So most of you guys that are in my chat and stuff are friends of mine already, and we're all in the hangouts together anyways.
Hey, mate.
If you're watching and you're not part of our hangout group, it will be a link in the description of the channel of my video once it posts here. So
Jeff,
you want to go in for the polling.
Pardon me, just a second. When you end this video, can they put in the comments what they'd like to see from us, to where they can put in their opinion also? Gonna have to happen quick.
You can do whatever you want to in the comments, I guess. But no, we're gonna come up as a panel with the four different types that are gonna be in the next polling. So if they want to just try to forth whatever they want for next Malty Monday for the style, just vote on the polling. And then what's going to happen is whatever wins out of that style, I'm gonna go ahead after Wildcard Wednesday ends. I'm going to look at the polling and see whichever style is winning, and I'm going to choose a sub style within that style. So let's just say lagers. Let's just say we have lagers. I might say, okay, well, I want to do a Helles. So then next Monday would be a Helles. So that's how it's gonna go for right now. Okay. So we're all happy. Everybody's here that wants to be here.
Yeah.
If anybody has to bow out, feel free to bow out. This isn't a prison sentence. I'm gonna go ahead and take us off air now, and hopefully my panel will stay with me and we can come up with four different.
We will.
Okay. Cheers, everybody. Thank you guys for joining in the chat.
Cheers.
Thank everybody that didn't even chat. Thank the viewers.
Cheers from you.
I mean, we would still do this even without viewers, but it makes it a little bit more fun when people are actually watching. Right? And then you guys just make it much more happier. And thanks once again to my awesome panel for joining in. And it's not always the same panel. So if you want up on the panel, just bring whatever beer type that we're doing on that Malty Monday, and you want in, the links will be put into the chat. The links will be put out onto our hangouts. You can join. I'm trying to keep this as professional as possible, though. So if you have plans of joining just to be a troll, then you will be eliminated immediately from it. So let's keep it professional and kosher. And good night, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. See you next month.
Bye.
The only country that